Hey, hey, you.
Huh? What? What? Who said that? Huh?
Yeah, you. The guy in the chair.
Me?
Do you have a child?
Yeah?
Then you should listen to this.
Okay then.
Do you know what your child watches on TV?
Oh yeah, he loves PBS Kids. He watches that stuff all the time. Isn't that right, kiddo?
Daddy, I had an accident.
uh, uh, See that kid's a real comedian right there. He's going places. He's going places.
Well, what if I told you maybe that wasn't the greatest idea?
Huh?
I mean, sure, there's nothing wrong with having them watch it on occasion. In fact, there have been experiments showing the effectiveness of these types of shows in the past. One example that really fascinated me was an experiment done in the 1970s. A bunch of young children were randomly put into two groups, an experimental group and a control group. Those in the former group were reported to have watched the show more frequently than those in the latter group. The children that watched the show most frequently were also reported to have gained 5.4 IQ points.
See, you literally just proving my point here. Watching these shows is making children smarter. I am a good parent and I am making the right decision.
Yeah, and I never said that you weren't. However, how do you know if your kid is actually learning from what he is watching?
Well, oh.
While these shows may be effective at teaching your children to an extent, it isn't really healthy to solely rely on them in order to teach your child. In fact, these shows really only work as teachers if there's an adult watching with the children. According to an article published by Vanderbilt University, a study was done in 2011 by Gabriella Strauss, where 81 parents were given DVDs of children's stories to show their kids over the span of 4 weeks. They were put into 4 different groups. Those groups were dialogic questioning, which is where you pause and ask questions, directed attention, where you comment but don't ask questions, dialogic actress, where someone appears on screen to ask questions to the viewers, and no intervention. Once the 4 weeks passed, it was reported that the children in the dialogic questioning group scored the highest in vocabulary and story comprehension than the other 3 groups. This proves that watching a program with your children and pausing it every so often to see if they're actually learning is a much more effective technique than just simply putting it on screen and expecting them to learn on their own.
Okay, yeah, sure, buddy. Whatever you say.
Oh, you still don't believe me? Well, why don't we look at some different research then?
Oh, brother.
This article comes from the International Journal of Studies in Education and was published by the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. They make quite a few points here about how unsupervised access to television can have a negative effect on children's cognitive development. It may distract them from wanting to engage in other activities and cause them to produce too many alpha waves. And too many alpha waves can lead to daydreaming, or the inability to focus. This is really bad for kids of preschool age. If they're too distracted by TV, they're gonna have trouble growing and developing mentally in the future. This is especially a concern in Nsukka because it's reported that a lot of parents there are either single or have dual income. As a result, they aren't around to monitor their kids as much and therefore not around to monitor what they're watching. This leaves them with unrestricted access to television so they can watch anything they want, regardless of whether or not it's age appropriate.
Okay, sure, but that research was done in a different country.
That's besides the point, though. This isn't an issue that's exclusive to just that one town, or even just Nigeria. It can happen literally anywhere in the world, including your own household. If you don't keep an extra eye on your son and monitor what he is watching, how do you think he's gonna turn out when he grows up?
Huh. Maybe I need to start being a better parent and spending more time with my son. Come on, kiddo, let's go watch some educational television together. That's my boy right there.